Very good morning, champs. Hope you're doing good. Let's get quickly started with part number 4 of full stack web application development using JSP, right? And before we get started, let's have a quick recap of what we did yesterday, or maybe in the previous lecture, right? So we created this right here, what we call that post function. We try to execute server-side script from client-side script, right? So for that, what we did, we call the button click using jQuery, and we grab the value of text field. If in case you have jumped in directly to this video, you've not seen part number 3, I suppose, of full stack web application development, I reckon you going back and checking all the videos before coming here, right? And now what we are doing, and then doing post, right? So this is also old school, as I told you. But yeah, let's have the recap of what we are doing. We say we are doing post whenever submit button is clicked, means this button, right? Okay, let me go. So whenever this button here is clicked, right, so post is happening, and we're going to components test.jsp, right? And this is parameter passing. We're passing the parameter of the txt name value as a parameter to this. We are sending post commands, and the post data that we are sending is name to components test.jsp, and it returns back function. Alright, so this function is basically a success function. Alright, so this data is what this test.jsp is returning, will be taken in this function and using this data parameter. And then what we are doing, we are displaying data right to the div as HTML. Right, so whatever data we're getting, we're displaying it. Now what this return false is doing, as I said, that we have to stop the form submission. Right, so that even enter key works. It's not only the submit button will work. For example, I type my name and I hit enter. Now it's coming back. So this is what we achieved the last time. Now let's do something different today. All right. So without wasting the time, let's get quickly started and say that whenever $ and I'll say hash bt and submit, whenever submit button, which is this input type submit, id bt and submit, I'm calling pound bt and submit because it's an id is called with pound. Or had it been class, we would call class by dot, not by pound, right? So because it's an id, so that's why we're calling it by pound, or whatever you call it, pound or hash, whatever you may feel like. So now what is going to happen to bt and submit? You're calling it, but say do not call it directly, but call it whenever click happens. Alright, so we are going to terminate it here. Whenever click happens, then what is going to happen? Alright, as a parameter, I create a function right here. Alright, so bt and submit dot click, we call this as function, right? So now function has parentheses and it has curly brackets. So I'm expanding this, I'll say alert, right? So first things first, so it's always better to check with each and every step, right, rather than going forward and correcting. Maybe you're at the 10th step and then you find error during first step, so you'll have to go 9 steps back, right? So unit testing is meant to be tested right alongside the code that we write in units, right? So that's what we are doing. We're not procrastinating, or we're not let's say about deliberating it, right? So deliberation may cause problems, because at the end of the day, when you see many errors coming or many exceptions, so then you'll not be able to handle them. So right, so that's why it's always recommended to check each and every step and then move forward, right? Okay, now I click on this button, I'm getting alert. First thing is done. So now today I will not be doing $.post, so I'll be doing much advanced, right, which is $.ajax. I repeat, $.ajax, asynchronous JavaScript and XML, right? Now it is asynchronous. You'll have to understand what asynchronous and synchronous means, right? Sorry, what do I say? I had to open Paint and open maps, okay? So what is async? Async means right and sync. Now if I write for example here 1 2 3 4, now sync up operation will make it like this. So first 1 will come, then 2 will come, then 3 will come, and then 4 will come, right? So async has some different functionalities. Async returns everything abruptly at the same time. That means first 1 2 3 4 all will be loaded, right? When all are loaded, then they are displayed at the same time, right? Unlike sync, which does display in serial. So now here it is going to come at the same time, right? Here we can check if 1 is true, 2 is true, but no, async operation is going to give us something or anything in return, right? Asynchronously means it's going to give us all together, right? Unlike a serial operation. So that's what asynchronous AJAX means. So it's asynchronous, J as in JavaScript, A as in and X as in XML. So we can handle both JavaScript and XML, but since we're going for AJAX, AJAX will take curly braces inside just like this, right? So you'll have to open curly braces, terminate it, all right, and then expand it, right? So now we'll have to understand many different things right here. And one of the better things that we have to understand is the parameters that AJAX take. AJAX may take parameters like type, right? And we don't have to use is equivalent to, we have to use this colon, right? And then this colon, and then what I do, I say the type is going to be either get or post. It's similar to form method, right? So this type is similar to form method, which is either post or get. So for example, we're doing post in here, right? And the second parameter is going to be URL. Do not terminate. You're passing all the parameters as a single parameter. Sorry, not as a single parameter, but as multiple parameters. So comma is going to do the thing for you. So URL, and then this colon, and URL was that we are submitting this form to components test.jsp. So I'll say component/test.jsp, right? And it takes many parameters, timings, like data type, whether it's XML, JSON, all right? But we're not going to use too many, so I don't intend confusing you at the beginning of this session. So we'll use as less as possible, right? So now major thing, that data that you will be taking. What is the data that you want? So data, as you know, goes in curly braces, and then we have comma. So data we are submitting to this. You're doing post, right? And you are doing post back to this function, but what are you sending? I said I am sending name as name, but I'm sending the value of txt name. So I can directly go here, and either I can say dollar hash or pound txt name dot val, grab the val or the value of txt name and store it in var name, right? So this is what we can do, right? Or we can take it directly also, right? So let me take it directly in here, right? So now we're taking directly. So whatever is here, right, means whatever is written inside the txt name text box will be shifted to this name. Now if you go to components test.jsp, you'll have to grab the post value as capital name, and now what does it return? It returns either the success function, right? I repeat, it returns two kind of functions. It can either return error AJAX, or it can return a success function, right? And we can write it value or val, whatever value that you are getting in return, or we can say data. So this parameter is going to take the data that is sent back as a response from components. You can say components test.jsp, right? So now I'll say right, so I repeat, so this data is going to take anything that response or that is sent back from test.jsp as response, because it's about request and response. So from this page we are sending request to component test.jsp, and now it's the duty of test.jsp to give us response, and we are taking that response here, data. So name can be anything, option, data, whatever you want, so it's not mandatory. Okay, now so this is our success function. So what will I do here? So let me call the debugger, right? So I'm calling debugger here, and the second function is error. So in case if error happens, so still I want to debug. I want to debug both the error and debugger. So I want to debug both the error and the success, right? So let us quickly save and see what is happening right here. Okay, let's quickly do inspect element. All right, so now after inspect element, go to console and let's say NIIT, so I submit. Right, so what is console giving us? Nothing, even not. Debug is called. Submit button dot click function. I say AJAX happens post and then go to this. Yeah, since everything is working fine, maybe it's cached, so I may have to go and maybe delete history first and then start fresh. Alright, since I'll have to delete my cache. So once the cache is deleted, I will go back to this and check what are we getting. Still not getting anything. So we're calling debugger. Let me see if everything is working fine. So let me type alert. So you'll learn debugging this way as well. So if in case you're getting this, right, so you can even learn debugging this way. Yeah, alert is happening, so there's no problem here. Let me take this alert to success function now, or maybe end at the end. So just to check if everything is working fine or not. We'll have to still return false because we're doing post, right? We're returning false because now you can see that after clicking this, the post button is finished, right? So now you can see the debugger is called. So right, because we were not returning, we were submitting the form back to server. So that was the main problem, right? We have to return false here so that the form submission stops, right? I'll show you if I don't return false, what is going to happen. If I don't return false, now you can clearly see here. Let me just get rid of this. Let me go to console. And you can see that you can see here the form is getting submitted. So that's not the duty of JavaScript. That's not what we basically what our motto is, right? So that's not what we want. We want this form submission to stop, and without refreshing the page, we want to execute it from the backend. And for that, I'll say return false. The moment I say return false, you can directly see that form submission will be stopped. It's not going to refresh, and the code is going to execute. Now you can say that we are at success. Now we are getting success function right here, and the data that we are getting is doc type HTML and every single thing. Right, you can clearly see this function is returning quite many things, right? So the page test.jsp is returning quite many things. So let me first say, yeah, it's returning request.getParameter name as well, right? Out.println name. Yeah, in case if error happens to come, right? So I'll write the wrong name. So let me see what debugger will do. Right, so in case if I write an ID, and now let's see, you can still say no, we still have the success debugger. Test.jsp, maybe it has to do something with the caching, I suppose. Okay, let me type an ID, and now we can see that you are still at success function, so we should not be able to get. Let me see console, play. Now you are still getting success. Maybe it's too much of caching going on this time, because test.jsp is nothing, right? So where do I find this? Okay, let me take it to another tab and try back. Right, so maybe we are now getting error. Okay, so now we are getting error maybe. Okay, you can see there's a clear error console. So if I say play, you can directly see no resource with given URL found. Right, so if I go to the console, I can clearly see, right, okay, no URL. Okay, we're getting debugger paused, right? So if I run the debugger, so it's still not going to do anything. Now we know that everything is fine, so we're not getting any error. So let me refresh. Yeah, now we can see we're getting success back, right? So let me do one thing here, get rid of the debugger and alert the data that's being sent back to us. Alright, so let me alert what's the file sending back, and now you can see it's sending many different things right here. Alright, And what are we getting? Yeah, we're getting many different things from the file, which is a wrapper. Where do I get this? What file are we going to? It is test.jsp, right? So we have this components test dot, and JSP has to give us name. Okay, something is wrong, so let me try again. I want to go to components test.jsp, and data, I'm taking this as data success function. Okay, so now it has to basically work for me. Okay, let me go back, see the console. Right, so what localhost? What are we getting back in return? So I'm not getting it. Alright, so it's absolutely carnage to get this. Now let me delete it again, clear storage, and go back and see what are we getting back in return. We're still getting the same thing back in return. Alright, so let me see the error. So we are basically taking we are doing post. That's absolutely fine, so we don't have problem with that. And we are going to components. Yeah, type URL is small basically. Why did I type capital URL small? And data, and we have success function, right, giving us an output and alerting data, right? So everything is fine. So let me try again. Maybe URL was capital. We were getting our own URL. We were getting our own, maybe, who knows? So let's have a look at this. Yeah, we're getting now an IIT. Now because all the error was because now go to console and try again. I can see now console is not going to show anything. You're getting an IIT. So all the error was because the URL that we were typing was something different. So now let me again call debugger. So let me again call debugger and see how it responds. Right, so go to console and see. Yeah, now you can see the data is coming in IIT within bold tags, right? So now it's absolutely fine. Even if I type the name, wrong name. So let me say I'm typing something wrong with the file that does not exist. If I go to console, we're getting 404 error, right? So I'll show you again. Debugger. You can clearly see an error function is called, right? Now error function is called. Yeah, it was all happening because of capital URL here. Now you can say that you're getting response header, right? That is right. You can clearly see 404 error, right? So now it's absolutely fine. Now let's delete the error function. We don't want errors. Alright, so instead of debugger, I will say dollar. I have that div, what do you call that? Hash div display dot, I'll have to use HTML, right? And I'll say data, right? So far it's done absolutely right, so we don't have any problem at all. So let me call an IIT and it should be displayed back, right? Okay, display div is somewhere. Okay, display div is here, so let me see whether something is here. Yeah, display div is here. Yeah, it should be replaced, right? Okay, this hash display div dot html is going to take data. So there's no problem at all. Why is this not printing? So let me try and refresh. I'll refresh this again. Alright, so let me try an ID. No, it's not coming. Why? Let me do alert alert first. So alert was data was coming in alert, I suppose. We just checked. Yeah. No, it's not happening because we something. We did something data, comma, and then we deleted this. Maybe we deleted something that we should not have. Right? We deleted what? What did we? Yeah, we deleted this error function, but it's not going to do anything. I don't know. Yeah, we did not change the URL. Error function is not going to do anything. Sorry. So we are right. I don't know. This is error day today, right? So TST is not the file name, it's TEST. We just changed it to, generate that exception or error. Now if I refresh and then I click on submit, we're getting an IIT, right? So if I say enter, we are getting 5. And now then everything is working fine. AJAX function is absolutely working fine. We don't have any problem. Let's have some other manipulations also. Let's go to test.jsp, right, and say for example, we are going to do this. So I will say if request.getParameter name, right, dot equals, now you can have everything, you can run everything here. So I'll say dot equals blank, and then what you got to do is you will say out.println, please enter your name, right? Absolutely perfect. And now if it does not, else you will say out.println, right, you will say request.getParameter name, right? So then you are displaying name. If it equals empty, you are displaying something else, and if it's not empty, and now you don't require to refresh the page because this file is executed at the back end. I'll not refresh this. You can see Fahim is here. I'll just delete Fahim. Fahim is still here. I have not refreshed. Now you can see that please enter your name because you're executing it at the back end, right? So any change to this file doesn't require you restarting or reloading the page, right? Now if I type NIIT, now you can say NIIT is coming, right? And second thing that I want to tell you, let me quickly go and make a model first, right? So we already made model, yeah. So I will say, for example, model name is users, or we can say users, user is equivalent to new user. So now it has a trick, so I'll show you another trick, right? For example, if I do request.getParameter name, or we can say let me pass 2 or 3 different things. So let me do something like this, okay? We have txt name, so I'll say input input, so I'll say input type text. Now no need to give name, I'll say id is equivalent to txt, or we can say, let's call this directly l name, l small and f small and capital, L small and capital, right? So name is not required here, right? So we have first name, and then we have last name, and then we have username, and then we have password, and then we have confirm password, for example, right? And we may have to, we are not designing it, so we're just understanding different concepts, all right? Okay, hit br, all, we'll go to next line. So this is going to be uname as in username, and p word as in password, and cp word, right? So I'll say cp word as in confirm password, right? So now we have all the things here, right? So now let me have a placeholder here, so that I'll say enter user name, right? So not the username, sorry. So it is going to be here. So I'll say enter first name, enter last, enter username, and enter password, and enter here. What do you want me to enter, or not enter, but confirm password? So it's not going to be well designed, right? So it's going to be just like this, right? So that we understand that how it works so far. Okay, so, fine. So now we have everything here, right? So what are we going to do? Now we are passing data. So now why would you pass data just like a junk? You can pass, there's no problem. I can say take data from f name as f name, right? And I can hit comma, right? Another comma. So I'll say f name data is going to be as this. So I'll do L name capital will take data from dollar. So I'll say pound L name. So you can have as many as you want after the comma. So I can have another as u name, which means username, and I can say right here, pound u name dot val, and here also we'll have to use dot val. So you can pass all one by one by one by one, and everything is going to be available here, right? So for example, if I do something like this, I'll say user dot set user name, or you can say user dot set f name as request dot get parameter. Right, so I can say request dot get parameter f name, right, and then I can set all of them. Maybe we have 4. Set l name, set u name, which is username, set password, and maybe we have set c password. Okay, so now this is f name and this is l name, and we're not passing all, or we're not are we passing all? No, we're passing l name, u name, which is we're passing first name, last name, and username only, right? So let's take only first name, last name, and username. So let's not take all of them. So first name, last name, and username. So let's say out dot print, right? So I'll say user dot get username concatenate plus user dot get f name plus user dot get l name. So now you can see that everything else is taken here. Alright, so I can say Fahim Khan, FHIM, okay, whatever it is. So you can see this is my username, and this is my first name, and this is my last name. It's coming from here, so we are displaying it nicely, but it's going to be hectic, right? So it's not a better solution because we want quick solutions these days. Full stack development means that you're handling everything yourself, and for that you have to make sure that you're doing it professionally and you're doing things quickly. You're not taking too much of time, and you're doing it with ease, right? With security as well, of course, but yeah, with ease as well. And for that, what are we going to do? We are going to do something like this here. So I will say var, I'll create just like an array or a JavaScript object. So I'll say var details, right? Or you can say user details, right? So I can say this var user details is equivalent to, now I'll open the brace and close the brace. So I'll say now, as you know, f name, okay, fine. So this is f name, and f name is going to take this value, which is f name dot val, comma, l name is going to take this value, which is l name dot val. So I'll say it's going to be $l name dot val, and then we are having uname is going to be, right, uname is going to be uname dot val, and then we say pwrd is going to be, right, or let me call this exactly what it is. Well, let me first show you how do you do this. So I'll say hash word dot val and comma, and then we have first name, last name, username, password, cp word. So it's cpwrd, right? So I'll say dollar and pound after pound c password dot val. So now I can pass this single one. All right. Now, for example, if I go here, let's not take any data here. So if I go here and say alert, for example, if I say alert now this user details, so I'll ask my JavaScript to print the complete user details. So in that case, he has to abide by. Let's see whether he does. Okay, so we have FAHIM PASS. So let me see that. Now we are getting object. That's absolutely all right. What are you getting back? JavaScript object. Now if I say user details dot, now you can say all the objects are here. So you can say now I need user details dot f name. So it's going to give me the same user details dot fname, right? So if I hit, now we are getting user details dot fname, right? So now there is something in today's world. JSON is doing a good runaround. So for example, if I say JSON is basically understood in all the language, it is Java script, right? Object notations, right? Now what will happen if I send let me send it so that you can understand it, right? For example, what will happen if I send this user details as an object, right? As, let's say, about UDETAILS. Now I'm posting u details, right? So, or we can say I'm posting user details to this URL as udetails. So now if I go to udetails in text.jsp and if I try and print it out, so for example, let me get rid of this all here. All right. Now if I do request dot get parameter and I do udetail, right? So this is what you are sending it as, so I'll have to call same udetail. So will it print anything? So let me see, right? So it's getting null, right? It's returning back null despite of the fact that you are sending udetail, right? You are sending udetail as user details, or we can say udetails. So let me call this udetails, and you're sending this to test.jsp as udetails. So it has to print. So let me try again, right? For you guys, so it's still getting hello. Okay, if I say Fahim, so now if I type, or if I type the entire thing, I say Fahim, PASS, and I'll say PASS. Now if I say getting null, what are you trying to print, right? So if I say udetails, right, or I can say nothing, I have no other way of printing this out right here. Alright, so that's where we have to understand JavaScript object notation. So what is JavaScript? JavaScript is something like this, right? So I'll just zoom it so that you understand what JavaScript is and what it is used for. JavaScript object notation, which is JSON. Now this is exactly what JSON is. For example, what is the first parameter? So first parameter is fname. If I convert it to JSON, so it's going to be fname is equivalent to Fahim, and then we are going to have a comma and another inverted quotes, right? So we can say inside quotes, and then we are going to have lname is equivalent to khen, right? So it's going to grow that now whatever you pass. For example, if I say uname, right? So it's going to have another quotes like this, so it is going to take uname as fhim, and so now this is how JSON looks like. So let me just keep it in single line so that you understand. Now this is JSON for you. You can clearly see. Alright, so this is how JSON may look like, right? So now let's try and convert this to JSON first, because we are sending it here and we are sending all at the same time. Sorry. Rather than sending the value one by one, we're sending all the value at the same time to test.jsp. So we need to have something to actually retrieve that, right? So now what I do here inside index.jsp, I will say, okay, fine, you're sending this, but wait a second, I need you to, I'll say data is equal to JSO and JSON dot, so I'll use this function JSON dot stringify. I repeat, JSON dot stringify. What is stringify? It converts this data to, right, it converts this data right here. I don't have to do it there, I'll have to do it here, sorry. So it converts this data to, you can see, why are we doing it with data? I am sorry, I'm absolutely sorry. I'll take user details and let's call this as u details. Now what this u details has, right, so USERDETAILS user details. Now because it's a variable, it can vary. So now we are taking user details, stringifying it to JSON, converting this as a JSON, or we can say converting this to JSON format and giving it back to user. Now if I say alert, or let me call this here alert, and if I alert this user details, now let us see what are we going to get. If in case I alert user details, now let's see what are we going to get. Right now you can see clearly what I have shown you. Not even 1% different than what I previously showed. Okay, so let me see. This is what I have previously shown you, and this is what. Now you can see f name, right, is equal to Fahim. Okay, one thing is different, yeah. The inverted comma gets closed here and then another opens here. Meanwhile, so you can take this as JSON. So this is JSON f name, Fahim, L name. So this is JSON format for you, right? If I don't do this, for example, JSON.stringify, so I'm not going to receive all, then I'm going to get object. For example, if I print it directly without doing JSON.stringify, and then what do I get? So I get object, right? So now after converting it to JSON, do I get object? No, I don't get object, right? I get this JSON format, right? So now after converting it to JSON, right, JSON.stringify, you can directly type JSON.stringify here. Once you are sending this data, where are you sending data? I just deleted data, right? Would you believe this? I just deleted it. Okay, right, so I'll type it again. Data that we are sending is let's say about details, details as JSON.stringify user details. So now we are sending only one parameter rather than lining all the parameters up and writing, you know, get value. Is better to send, but still we have to do much, right? And this is still not sufficient for us. So now let me see. Alright, so now we are getting some problem here. JSON user details, comma, I just forgot comma here, maybe, yeah. Okay, I had forgotten comma. So comma is now there. Now you can see you are getting it back as it is. Isn't it beautiful? You tell me if I tell you. Isn't it beautiful? Huh? Right? Don't you like this JSON? Now what I do here, I go to test.jsp. I say out.println request.getParameter u details, and here you go. You're printing all at the same time. For example, if I say FAHIM and pass and say enter, now you can say Fahim as Fahim, L name, everything is printed back to you, right? And it is printed back to you as normal string, so you still have to convert it, or maybe. Now if I say out of user details, right, I want let's say about 0th parameter. I know it's not going to work because you have to convert it. Now you cannot do, because if you want to take away anything, right, if I want to extract the value, for example, I want to extract only first name, I want to extract only L name. For that we'll have to do many things. Let me take a look at the time. Is still okay. No, it's already 38, right? So we have 2 minutes remaining because I cannot exceed by 40. But yeah, this is good. I'll give you the rough overview again. What are we doing here? Creating JavaScript object, right? And not in a JSON format, it's pure JavaScript format, right? Instead of post, we are using AJAX, which has type. We can change the type from post to get if you want, and it has a URL where we are going to send this post data to. We're sending it to this test.jsp, and this time we're sending u details, right? So we're not sending u, we're sending this user details, which is this object right here. We're sending user details after converting it to JSON, and we are sending it to test.jsp as u details. And this data success function with data parameter, this argument is going to take back whatever test.jsp sends us back as a response. So this is for response, and you are displaying the response over this display div, right? So now if I go to test.jsp, what am I doing here? We're extracting user details value and printing them because we are getting JSON values. Now what we have done here, we have encoded this to JSON, right? Right here, JSON.stringify is encoding this to JSON, right? And now what we need to do here in test.jsp, decode it back to JSON, right? Or we'll have to grab it here in the JSON format as well. But yeah, this is quite sufficient for the day, right? You'll have to practice it still, right? And do practice every single thing, and practice all what I have shown you, and get familiar with this AJAX function, right? And do debugging also. At the start, I shown you at the start of the class that we do debug success, and we can debug error functions as well, so that we basically, errors are very good. If you're getting errors frequently, you're very lucky, because errors will, errors is something that is going to teach you or make you expert. Only when you get an error will you be able to solve it, right? Otherwise you would never find solutions if you don't get errors, right? I know that if I could get them, I can solve them, right? So that's basically the fun. Other, once you solve them, you seek solutions, or maybe you go and surf internet and Google solutions, or maybe ask your instructor and discuss, and maybe use your own brains. At times brainstorming is very good in finding solutions, and while getting error and then after that finding solutions is a proven fact that it increases abstract thinking, common sense. It increases to great level. All right, only take help from the instructor when it is over your head, right? So nothing is over the head, because you are intelligent enough to find solutions. But yeah, in case because we have a limitation of time, if it goes beyond the limited time that you think you have, then you can let me know down in the comment section, or you can message me directly in case if you have any error. And then what else can I say till then? See you tomorrow, and then bye bye, take care, do practice very hard, and wish you all the best. Bye bye.